Easter in America isn't just about faith. It's about eggs that predict the future, candles that call the dead, and rules. So many weird, invisible rules. You followed them without even knowing, until now. 1. There's a lingering superstition that if it snows on Easter Sunday, someone in your family will fall ill before summer. Sounds ominous, right? Now imagine living in Wisconsin, where April snow is less a surprise and more a seasonal rite of passage. At that point, it's not prophecy. It's calendar-based emotional sabotage. People there wake up to flurries and just start texting their relatives. Feeling okay? No sore throat yet? You sure? Snow angels? More like guilt ghosts in powder form. 2. Ever heard of spinning for luck? In certain German-American households, kids spin hard-boiled eggs like tops, and whichever egg stays upright the longest brings good fortune for the year. Sounds innocent, until one family turned it into a full-blown underground betting ring. Yes, Grandma was the reigning champ. No, she didn't take kindly to accidental bumps during her spin. Let's just say Easter got a little less about resurrection and a little more about competitive yoke-based gambling. 3. An old poetic tradition says that washing your feet in river water on Easter purifies your path for the coming year. It's symbolic, meditative, and freezing. One guy reportedly slipped mid-cleansing, landed with a splash, and proudly declared he'd just purged extra sin. That's the spirit. Redemption with bruises. Honestly, nothing says holy renewal like a wet sock, a twisted ankle, and a renewed respect for balance. 4. Among some Irish-American families, there's a touching belief that if you whisper your prayers to bees at sunrise on Easter, they'll carry your messages straight to heaven. A sweet idea, until you remember bees have stingers and zero chill at dawn. Still, believers lean in close and talk to the hive like it's a sacred hotline. Forget confessionals, just find a bee, whisper your sins, and hope it doesn't answer with a sting of judgment. 5. In coastal fishing communities, there's a long-held superstition. Skip Easter service and your entire fishing season is cursed. Even self-proclaimed atheists have been spotted lurking in the back pew, because apparently nothing unites science and faith like fear of empty nets. It's like spiritual insurance. Sit through one sermon, catch boatloads of fish. Miss it? Poseidon and Jesus might team up and ghost your lobster traps. Holy guilt with a side of haddock. 6. Some families believe that seeing a rainbow on Easter is a divine confirmation that your prayers were received. It's a beautiful sentiment, until you're standing in wet socks, squinting through drizzle, muttering, "Come on, just a hint of purple." Cosmic validation shouldn't require trench foot, but here we are. And if you do spot that rainbow, prepare for your aunt to declare it was her prayer that got through first. 7. According to one oddly specific superstition, peeling an Easter egg perfectly, no cracks, no mess, means you'll have a drama-free year. One uncle became so good at it, the family dubbed him the Egg Whisperer. No arguments at his table, no side eyes at dinner. Just clean peels and inner peace. Of course, if you mess it up, welcome to chaos, passive aggression, and probably a group text meltdown by June. Handle with care. 8. A rare, and very specific, belief says that dreaming of ducks on Easter Eve means gossip is coming your way. Not just idle chit-chat, waves of drama. But what if it's geese? That's unclear. Maybe lawsuits. Either way, your subconscious is apparently tuned into the poultry pipeline. So if you wake up recalling flapping wings and judgmental quacking, brace yourself. Someone's about to spill tea, and you're the main course. 9. There's a gentle tradition that says walking barefoot through grass on Easter morning releases winter's bad luck from your body. Symbolic. Grounding. Also, wildly impractical if your lawn includes bees, thorns, or whatever your dog left behind. It's supposed to feel like renewal, but sometimes it just feels like tetanus. Still, many swear by the tingling toes and muddy soles. Spring cleaning. For your soul and your socks. 10. Some gardeners believe that planting flowers in the shape of a cross on Easter protects the household for the year ahead. The blossoms, they say, absorb divine energy, nature's version of spiritual Wi-Fi. But here's the twist. If even one petal falls too early, it's a sign your energy is leaking. Imagine explaining to your neighbor why you're duct taping pansies back together. It's not gardening, it's divine maintenance. Because even your flower bed deserves holy patchwork. 11. Some people genuinely believe that if your Easter chocolate melts before you get to eat it, someone out there is secretly jealous of you. Not jealous of your job, your love life, or your success. Just you, in general. That puddle of formerly majestic bunny? It's not poor storage or warm car seats. It's spiritual sabotage via cocoa. Suddenly, melted candy becomes a weapon of envy, a divine reminder that someone's got your name in their mouth and your chocolate on their conscience. So next time your bunny's ears droop like wilted tulips, don't blame the sun. Blame Brenda. 12. According to an old legend in Orthodox American households, red Easter eggs symbolize the tears of the Virgin Mary, who supposedly painted them while grieving at the foot of the cross. Suddenly, that bright crimson shell isn't just festive, it's loaded with centuries of sorrow, sacrifice, and spiritual symbolism, which makes cracking it open for a casual egg salad a little intense. Want some grief with your mayo? It's a tradition soaked in meaning, and possibly a reminder that not every Easter dish needs backstory-level trauma. 13. There's a belief that if a bird flies into your house on Easter morning, it's a message from the dead, a sign, a whisper from beyond, or, more practically, a reminder that maybe it's time to install screens. Either way, few things will make your holiday coffee fly out of your hand faster than a sparrow doing a kamikaze loop past the deviled eggs. Bonus points if it poops on the furniture. Then you've got both a haunting and a blessing in one swoop. 14. Some say if a bird poops on your Easter outfit, it's good luck, which is probably something someone invented to stop children from crying during brunch. According to this logic, the messier the bird, the bigger the blessing. So when your crisp pastel blazer gets dive-bombed by a seagull with zero chill, don't panic. Apparently, you've just been anointed. Still, hard to feel blessed when you're scrubbing pigeon guts off a seersucker jacket. 15. In parts of rural Pennsylvania, it's believed that planting your crops on Easter Sunday blesses them with extra vitality because the soil is closer to heaven that day. Does that make botanical sense? Not even a little. But some farmers swear their Easter tomatoes grow taller, stronger, and sassier. Call it holy horticulture or seasonal coincidence, but one thing's certain. Nothing gets people to church and into the garden faster than divine fertilizer promises. 16. Some folks believe that placing a raw egg under your bed on Easter Eve will absorb any evil spirits lingering in your home. It's basically paranormal pest control, egg edition. If it's cracked by morning, great. Evil, neutralized. If it's still whole, well, either you're spirit-free or just one toe away from an omelet surprise. It's spiritual cleansing with a side of salmonella. And let's be real. No one wants to start Easter explaining why their bed smells like breakfast. 17. There's a quirky tradition where Midwestern grandmas used to whisper wishes into marshmallow peeps before eating them, believing the sugary birds would carry their messages to heaven. Yes, seriously, peeps as spiritual couriers. It's adorable, unsettling, and vaguely cannibalistic all at once. Fly, my little spongy angel. Take Grandma's prayer for lower gas prices with you. Whether the universe listened is unclear, but if stale peeps still get divine reception, that explains a lot about wish delays. 18. A strangely personal superstition says that if your chocolate bunny has a hollow head, someone in your life is keeping secrets from you. Solid bunny? Honesty. Hollow bunny? Lies. Yes, in this version of reality, your dessert is your therapist. Imagine biting into a bunny and going, "Huh, I knew Karen wasn't telling me everything." Candy as a trust test? Welcome to America, where even the Easter basket gets weaponized for emotional diagnostics. 19. In some chaotic households, it was believed that the first person to eat an Easter egg would win all family arguments for the rest of the year. Naturally, siblings turned this into a full-blown tactical sport. Kids woke up before dawn, eyes bloodshot, fridge already cracked open. Forget love and peace. This was war. Whoever got the egg first claimed dominion over the thermostat, TV remote, and the sacred right to say, "Told you so." That's not a breakfast. That's a power grab in a shell. 20. A bizarre southern tale insists that a rooster will always crow at sunrise on Easter no matter the weather. Sounds magical, until you realize some farmers took this as gospel and bet money on it. And if their rooster decided to sleep in, out came the encouragement stick. Picture grown men standing in the dark, nudging a chicken like it's a reluctant alarm clock. Was it spiritual? Maybe. Was it ridiculous? Absolutely. But hey, if divine poultry says it's Easter, who are we to argue? 21. In some Eastern European American families, Easter eggs aren't just colorful, they're borderline sacred. One traditional method involves boiling eggs with onion skins, producing stunning, marbled patterns that are said to ward off evil spirits. The result? Gorgeous brown and gold orbs that look like Fabergé went folk. But mess them up. Wrong water, ugly swirl, cracked shell. And you might get more than a disappointed glance from grandma. Some claim a botched egg invites misfortune into the home. So yeah, Easter prep becomes an art class mixed with spiritual risk. Good luck surviving the judgment of a babushka with standards. 22. According to a Cajun legend, dyeing Easter eggs after sundown might attract mischievous spirits who steal the color as they dry. The belief turned egg decorating into a literal race against darkness. Some families even kept grandma on duty, flashlight in hand, like a folklore bouncer guarding the pastel perimeter. "Don't let the devil drain the dye," she'd mutter, while smacking the table like a paranormal bodyguard. Whether or not the spirits show up, one thing's for sure. Easter gets weird fast once the sun goes down. 23. Some say if you forget to bless your Easter basket before digging in, you cancel out all the holy vibes inside, like divine fine print. In many Polish-American homes, the food isn't just breakfast, it's sacred inventory. One grandma flat out refused to serve a single sausage until the priest did the honors. The result? A dining room full of growling stomachs and silent guilt. Someone once tried to sneak a piece of kielbasa early, and mysteriously wasn't invited next year. Coincidence? Or the wrath of a spiritually unblessed snack? 24. An old superstition warns that if a mirror cracks on Easter Sunday, someone in the house will face 7 trials in the coming year. Nobody knows what these trials are: IRS audits, broken air fryers, emotional spirals in Target. Doesn't matter, just don't break the mirror. In fact, some families quietly remove mirrors the night before Easter like they're defusing a spiritual bomb. It's not paranoia, it's proactive superstition. Because honestly, who wants existential dread before their ham and potatoes? 25. In parts of the Midwest, there was once a belief that burying eggs on Good Friday and unearthing them on Easter infused them with healing powers. Think of it as nature's version of charging your crystals, except instead of quartz, it's boiled protein getting spiritually marinated in soil. Families would carefully dig them up, sometimes with the same reverence as uncovering buried treasure. And then they'd eat them. Because nothing says divine wellness like a slightly gritty breakfast with mystery powers and questionable FDA approval. 26. In the Ozarks, dyed eggs weren't just decorations. They were tools for fortune-telling. Locals would float them in bowls of water and read the patterns, kind of like tea leaves with salmonella potential. A swirl might mean travel. A crack? Betrayal? If your egg did a weird spin, it could mean anything from romance to getting audited. It turned Easter into an oddly mystical brunch seance. What does yours say? Mine says I shouldn't have trusted that tuna salad. Powerful insights, with a side of boiled weirdness. 27. One of the weirdest and most persistent myths? That rabbits lay eggs. Thanks, 1700s German immigrants, for introducing the Osterhase, a magical hare that somehow poops out painted eggs. Americans took that idea, ran with it, and created the Easter bunny, an oversized, hyper-fertile, candy-slinging mammal that breaks into your house once a year. It's like Santa, but fuzzier and way less consistent with biology. Honestly, we're just one glitter montage away from turning this into a full Pixar franchise. 28. Drop salt during Easter brunch? Better throw some over your left shoulder or risk inviting betrayal into your life. It's a superstition that turns clumsy condiment accidents into spiritual emergencies. The twist? If the salt hits someone behind you, Some say they inherit the bad luck. Others joke they owe you money now. Look, Easter rules aren't always consistent, but they are spicy. So next time you spill, take no chances. Fling that salt and pray it doesn't land in someone's mimosa. 29. One especially paranoid superstition says you shouldn't give eggs to anyone outside your family on Easter, or you'll give away your luck. Some folks even took back eggs after remembering. Yes, full egg retractions mid-celebration. Sorry, Karen, I forgot you're technically my neighbor. That egg? Yeah, I need that back. Forget kindness. Easter becomes an egg-based trust fall. Gifting chocolate is fine, but hand over a hard-boiled omen. That's crossing the spiritual boundary line. 30. In certain Appalachian communities, if your cat stubbornly refuses to leave its perch on Easter morning, it's seen as a warning sign of misfortune quietly creeping into your life. Apparently, cats aren't just moody, they're furry spirit meters. Some families would light candles, say extra prayers, or leave out offerings of food to appease whatever vibes the feline detected. Because when Whiskers glares at the window like something's out there, you listen. That cat might be seeing more than dust particles. It might be judging your soul. 31. Some folks believe that bread baked on Easter Sunday won't mold. Ever. As in, divine preservatives baked right in. Before fridges were a thing, this was taken pretty seriously. Loaves were stored like holy relics, often long after they should have been toast, literally. And even today, some swear their Easter bread lasts longer than usual. Maybe it's the yeast. Maybe it's divine intervention. Or maybe grandma's been gaslighting the mold away for decades. Either way, one more reason to carb load in the name of holiness. 32. In certain Midwestern farming towns, there's a belief that chicks hatched on Easter are chosen and must never be eaten. These fluffy little miracles get a spiritual pass straight into pet status. One family kept theirs for 14 years, treated it like royalty, and gave it a spot in the family photo album. Imagine being a guest and asking, "What's his name?" and hearing, "Oh, that's Reverend Cluckles. He's spiritually immune to the food chain." Respect the peep, or prepare for cosmic backlash. 33. If your dyed Easter eggs come out with weird speckles or blotches, some believe it's a sign someone around you is lying. Suddenly, egg dyeing becomes less about creativity and more about forensic psychology. Why is this one blotchy? I don't know, ask Uncle Ron about that business trip to Atlantic City. It's Easter meets lie detector test with vinegar fumes and finger stains. Just be careful accusing someone. You never know what the swirl pattern is hiding. 34. In some New Orleans neighborhoods, there's a belief that the Easter bunny skips houses with messy front yards. That turned yard work into a sugar-fueled panic. Kids would sweep, weed, and arrange lawn ornaments like tiny suburban exorcists. And if a kid woke up with no candy, it wasn't parental forgetfulness. It was punishment by bunny. So yes, the Easter bunny is apparently judgmental and also a stickler for landscaping. 35. According to Pennsylvania Dutch tradition, the first girl to spot a robin on Easter would be the next to marry. Cue dozens of teen girls scanning the sky like they were in a rom-com version of a military radar station. One girl even brought binoculars and called it tactical dating. Of course, if your cousin saw one first, it turned into a passive-aggressive birdwatching war. Robins, the original Tinder swipe in feathered form. 36. One native-influenced legend says rabbits were once messengers between the spirit world and the living. So during Easter, they're not just candy couriers, they're spiritual DHL, which adds a whole new level of awkward when you see a mall Easter bunny throwing gang signs and posing for selfies. Somewhere out there, a spirit is watching and whispering, "This is not what we meant." Cosmic dignity, now available in plush. 37. In Louisiana voodoo-influenced folklore, burying an egg at a crossroads on Easter is said to trigger prophetic dreams, if you do it barefoot and don't look back. The ritual's got all the vibes of a horror movie and none of the comfort of shoes. People swore it worked. Others swore they just got ants in their pants. Either way, you're risking tetanus for bedtime spoilers. Talk about extreme dream hacking. 38. Some believe you should never throw away the green Easter grass from your basket. Doing so is like tossing abundance in the trash. Hoarders everywhere just felt spiritually validated. That synthetic tangle of fake grass now lives in junk drawers and vacuum bags with divine purpose. And honestly, even if you try to throw it out, it never really leaves. It's immortal, possibly haunted, possibly judging you. 39. According to one oddly judgmental superstition, yawning during Easter service dooms you to boredom for the rest of the year, like a spiritual punishment for being under-caffeinated. Some churchgoers pop mints, sniff essential oils, or slap their cheeks mid-sermon just to stay awake. One pastor even joked that a mid-homily yawn was Satan's open house. So next Easter, remember, stay alert, or risk 12 months of meh. 40. There's a belief that gifting someone a cracked Easter egg is basically wishing them bad luck. It's like saying, "Happy Easter, hope your tires go flat." Moms used to inspect each egg like it held state secrets, tossing any with the faintest fracture into the deviled pile. Because yes, once an egg is broken, its only fate is being filled with mayo and regret. So unless you're out for revenge, don't hand someone an egg with baggage. 41. In early Irish-American households, it was believed that if you heard your name whispered in the wind on Easter Sunday, someone was either praying for you or talking behind your back. The difference apparently depends entirely on the tone. Soft and warm? Divine intentions? Sharp and hissy? Definitely gossip. Either way, families used to pause, tilt their heads toward the breeze, and wonder, was that Grandma or Karen? In the end, it's a 50-50 shot between heavenly blessings or emotional damage. 42. In parts of Appalachia, there's a long-standing belief that rivers quietly turn to wine at midnight on Holy Saturday. Whole families would gather near the water, just in case a miracle broke out. And while no one ever came home tipsy on divine Cabernet, the hope was part of the magic. Imagine standing barefoot in the moonlight, cup in hand, sipping icy Appalachian Pinot, only to realize it's still tap water with spiritual ambition. Sometimes, the faith's the buzz. 43. Some say that if the church bell rings out of tune on Easter, someone in the congregation is hiding a sin. One town even had a self-appointed bell whisperer who'd sneak up the tower and re-ring it, just to be safe. It became a passive-aggressive Easter tradition. The bell clangs wrong, and suddenly half the congregation side-eyes each other like it's spiritual Among Us. Was it you? Did you really give up chocolate for Lent? Ding ding. Guilt activated. 44. There's a strange belief that if you lock eyes with a rabbit on Easter morning, your luck is mirrored. If you've got good fortune, it doubles. If your life's already a mess, the bunny makes it worse. People started treating bunnies like furry, judgmental fortune cookies. One kid even wore sunglasses to avoid direct eye contact with the rabbit in his yard. I'm not risking double bad luck just because Fluffy's feeling nosy. Smart kid. Terrified, but smart. 45. According to a competitive little superstition, counting your Easter eggs out loud while hunting means you'll lose one. Vanish. Gone. Stolen by the spiritual IRS. So, families started hunting in total silence, tiptoeing through the yard like sugar-obsessed ninjas. Some cousins even faked numbers to throw each other off. It wasn't about candy. It was psychological warfare. Whisper 12 too loud, and suddenly you're down to 11. Easter, folks. Where silence is golden and betrayal comes in plastic shells. 46. Some believe that cracking an Easter egg and finding 2 yolks means a wedding is near. Great news if you're in love, awkward if you're very single. But crack an egg and find no yolk? That's said to be an omen of death. Or, at the very least, a tragic breakfast. One family kept track of double yolkers like engagement announcements, while yolkless eggs were quietly tossed and never spoken of again. Romance and ruin, all in one shell. Bon appetit! 47. In parts of the South, if it rains on Good Friday, it's believed the next 7 Fridays will be wet too. Farmers treated it like the ultimate low-tech forecast. Planting schedules shifted, chores were rearranged, and one guy even skipped a fishing trip based on folklore alone. Who needs Doppler radar when grandma's bunions and a single storm cloud have a better track record than the local news? Call it hillbilly meteorology, highly superstitious, occasionally correct. 48. A bizarre small-town myth claims that if you hum "Here Comes Peter Cottontail" perfectly at midnight, the Easter Bunny will appear in your dreams. But if you mess up a lyric, he skips your house entirely. One kid practiced the melody for days, pacing like it was a Broadway audition for Cadbury Jesus. The stakes? Chocolate. The cost of failure. Crushed hopes and an empty basket. Moral of the story? Learn the lyrics, or get left in the confectionery cold. 49. There's a quirky superstition that eating an odd number of jelly beans on Easter brings odd outcomes all year. Think uneven finances, bizarre coincidences, and romantic disasters involving people named Greg. Some families count every bean before chewing, like it's jelly bean Sudoku. One aunt got so intense about it, she confiscated the bowl and gave people even-only rations. Because nothing says holiday joy like treating your candy like it holds the secrets of the universe and your credit score. Maybe these stories are just folklore, maybe they're warnings dressed in sugar and pastel, or maybe Easter in America is stranger than anyone's ready to admit. But if this video made you pause, laugh, or side-eye your Easter basket, go ahead and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, which of these was harmless fun, and which one low-key freaked you out?